How do you feel about the workload given the students in AP classes?
Crazy, ridiculous.
I'm in AP English, A Push, Honors Pre-Cal, Honors Physics, Sports Entertainment Marketing, and Honors French.
I only have two APs, Spanish AP and English AP. And then I'm taking honors. I'm taking BC Pre-Cal, and then I take orchestra in addition to creative writing and regular U.S. history.
The courses that I'm taking, first period I have calculus, then or calculus BC, and then I take physics 1-2. Then I have AP US history, then AP music theory, then English AP 3, and then my sixth period is debate 3, which is an honors course, it's not an AP course, and then I take AP Chinese.
In the survey of 75 students, specifically from Plano Senior High School, almost 55% of students take 3 or more AP classes. Furthermore, 1/3 of all students surveyed spend 4 or more hours on homework per night. For the students that are also heavily involved in school clubs and extracurriculars besides their typical workload, an additional hour, upwards of 4 hours in some cases, may be spent on schoolwork daily. This indicates that the typical heavy workload for students is exacerbated with extracurriculars. Note that the fact that more than half of students spend more than 1 hour on homework a day conveys that a majority of students in Plano have to deal with a large workload along with their extracurriculars. If anything, this number may be undercalculated because the people who were spending even more time on their homework may not have assessed the survey on social media as much as people who spend less time on their homework and thus have more time for social media. Throughout the documentary, we intended on shedding a light on the stress and sleep deprivation students are burdened with due to time-intensive extracurriculars. The stress that students are placed under due to extracurriculars has to be recognized as a real issue and dealt with on an awareness and teacher workload level.
So we come in at either 7 or 7:30 a.m. and we work until like 9:20, 9:30, so we work all that time. And we practice and we go to competitions, which take up time over our weekends, and we usually have, like during football season, we'll have practice after school, and during contest season, we'll have stuff after school to get in preparation for contests and then spring show. So we're always working, and like even right now that spring show's over, we're still coming in every morning to work out.
Nights, early mornings, I'm even like missing school for athletics, and it's just a lot of hard work.
A lot of the time, extracurriculars force students to miss school because of competition, which mandates that the student must miss school. Depending on the extracurricular competition, students can miss up to a whole week of school.
Well, for football, you'll probably miss like 2 periods a semester just because football games are like, they coordinate it really well, but like things like track or like traveling, you can miss a day or 2 for things like that.
Well, obviously I have the period here, which is about 50 minutes for the orchestra, and then like I just said, I practice about 2 to 3 hours a day at home, in addition to usually a lot of time I spend a lot of time researching music, researching theory, so that takes about another hour. So after school on a given day, I'm usually spending about 4 hours in some facet of the musical.
Typically, in a day, how much do you spend being a Plano Ed or doing these activities as Plano Ed?
Probably like 3 hours.
3 hours a day?
Yeah.
What time do you usually get home? If you have practice.
If we have practice after school?
Yes.
If we usually she'll give us a break from after school from 4:15 to like 5:15, so like an hour to go get lunch, and then we'll have practice from like 6 to 9, so we'll have a 3-hour practice that night too.
For me, I just think about it constantly. Like I'll be in class watching film just because that's what I do when I'm bored. I think about football. So I mean, it just takes up a lot of time, and you're like nervous for it. You're more focused on it, and it shouldn't be that way, but you just are.
It's just a lot. It's a lot. Most kids don't have just a really time-consuming extracurricular that requires 3 hours. I mean, of course, some do, some dance, some paint, some do whatever. But like I'm saying, I'm spending maybe 3 or 4 hours a day practicing, and then I have my homework, which isn't that rigorous, but still it does take a couple hours every night, and then I just have to stay in shape. So by the time that's all done, it's usually 12, 1.
I just spend a lot of time in debate, and it's not just about the practice, it's also, for instance, if we have tournaments, then that's usually half of Friday and all of Saturday. And then if you have to travel, that's obviously even more time, because then you have to get there early and then leave, usually Sunday. So often it just gobbles up basically a whole week.
Can you elaborate on specific examples between tournament interaction and schoolwork?
Yeah, so for instance, when we went to Harvard with the debate team, we had to leave early, obviously, so we missed more school than we normally would have. And then we spent the entire weekend there, and then we got back Monday night, I believe it was. And then, obviously, we had missed quite a bit of school, but we actually got back Tuesday, because Monday we didn't have school. So I remember that we missed 2 days of school, essentially.
Like, even just with GDY, or not GDY, Plano Senior Orchestra, they have UIL, they have, whenever they have UIL or contests that our orchestra has to perform, and I'll have to skip school. And then, when I made All-State Orchestra, I had to take off maybe 3 days to go to San Antonio and perform at that convention. And other than that, that's it. But yeah, it's not infrequent that orchestra demands skipping school, not skipping a day, missing school.
It was just kind of difficult because even though you do miss school and it's like excused or whatever, you miss all the homework time that you would have had over the weekend. And then you also have to make up all of your work that you missed in the 2 days. And sometimes teachers are nice about it and they'll give you a few other days to make it up. But sometimes they'll be like, yeah, you have a test, you're just going to come back and take it. And you can't really push that back because you're not missing the test, you're only missing maybe a few days. But yeah, just tournaments like that can be kind of challenging. But usually what happens is we'll try to get more done beforehand and then bring some on the trip itself. So you just try to deal with it the best you can.
Especially All-State, because I said usually, because UIL you miss maybe a day or half a day, but All-State you're missing 3 days, you're missing 21 periods of school. So when you come back, that next week is extremely stressful just because there's so much work that you have to get done in maybe 2 or 3 days, or however, depends on the teacher in some cases. But that's very stressful, especially because while you're actually there in San Antonio, you have no time to do any other work. And just UIL, like I said, even though it's much less time consuming, there is still a lot of work to be done, and it is very stressful.
The accumulation of time spent being in academic ventures as well as being actively involved in extracurriculars can build up and result in adverse health effects. Looking deeper into the research of Antonio Munoz Hoyos, a renowned pediatrician, it is clear that children's stress caused by an overloaded school and after-school agenda has potential to cause mental issues, as well as physical issues that are the result of manifestations of those mental issues in other areas of the body. Among the most common issues caused by conversion are headaches, stomach aches, sleeping problems, nightmares, and a clear loss of appetite. The main psychological symptoms of children's stress are anxiety, appearance of exaggerated worries, inability to relax or control one's emotions, aggressiveness, and regression to behavior typical of previous stages of development.
In the psychology curriculum, you talk about chronic stress. Can you elaborate what that is and its effects?
Yeah, chronic stress is ongoing, prolonged stress, as opposed to a quick little fender bender kind of stress where it's just a quick thing and then it's over. So chronic stress is going on and on and on. And your brain and your body can only take so long of being at a level higher than homeostasis. With adrenaline and cortisol and hormones like that are active during a fight or flight situation, but it's going on and on and on. So after a while, your body and your brain, your mind is depleted of your resources to be able to handle that ongoing stress.
During times when individuals appraise events and situations in their lives to be stressful, they allocate cognitive resources to coping with these demands. This in turn limits available resources and results in lower cognitive performance than during non-stress times. Essentially, as people are more exposed to stress, that stress begets more stress and compounds on itself. This effect eventually meets the exhaustion period threshold for chronic stress and leads to mental health problems for people. Over the long term, chronic life stress has been consistently associated with poor cognitive function, accelerated cognitive decline, and increased incidence of dementia. One explanation for these long-term effects is that individuals who experience chronic stress are at an increased risk for biological wear and tear, allostatic load, that results in both dysregulated endocrine function and pro-inflammatory effects, which can impair the neural structure and function underlying cognitive importance.
Have you observed the effects of chronic stress in any of your students?
Yeah, I try to create a very stressful environment for them. So I try to crack them. And so, I've cracked a few along the way. Some try to bring them to tears or, no, I actually don't try to do that on purpose. Yeah, I've seen, some are affected by lack of sleep. I think that's part of it. They're tired. I don't know if the stress is contributing to that, but the homework load that they have in some other classes and all the classes combined can be a factor.
What should be the optimal amount of sleep for a student's developing brain?
Well, depends on the age, but I think, isn't it like 9, 10 hours even, if you're lucky? 9 hours maybe,
So for
a teenage brain.
You have mostly juniors in your classes, right? So 16, 17?
Yeah.
So you feel like it should be 9 to 10?
Yeah, if possible, 8 to 10. And the thing is, research has really shown this, not just for teenagers in the developing brain, but sleep, especially REM sleep, helps you consolidate information that you're taking in the previous day or days. So REM sleep is essential for learning and memory. Sleep deprivation, your brain doesn't digest it.
When alluding to Mr. Brooks' statements on daily sleep requirements for high school-aged adolescents, statistics show that the majority of this demographic do not receive optimal amounts of sleep daily needed for proper development.
If you were to put it, what would the range be?
I get a good 8 every night.
8?
Hours, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Geez, it's probably less than desirable for the average teenager. 6 on average, 6, 7. Not 8. Most of the time not 8.
I usually wake up at 7:45, assuming that I don't have to wake up early for anything. And I try to get to sleep before 12. Doesn't always happen, but usually I don't stay up past 12:30. So around 12 to 7:45. I would say 7.5 hours. Yeah.
If it came down to it, and I had to stay up all night studying, or I had to sleep and just try my best the next day on a quiz or something, I'd take sleep.
A sample of 882 children, ages 9 to 13, recruited at 9 health education centers in the United States, was selected for this study. Children answered questionnaires using remote handheld devices. Data was analyzed using descriptive statistics and multivariative logistic regression. The outcomes of interest were activity-based stress and desire for more free time. Results. The primary predictor for the desire for more free time was hours of screen time. Examples are television, computer, and video games. Those who reported 3 or more hours were nearly 3 times more likely to desire more free time. Parents of school-aged children should assess activity-related stress and the degree to which children perceive they are busy. Teachers, school counselors, and school administrators should be aware of these perceptions as they are making decisions regarding school schedules and should teach personal skills such as time management and stress control. Complacency with the way that the school system works robs students of an even more optimal experience in school. Every single day, educators and students are forced to deal with a broken system. The burden is on students to demand a better tailored approach in public school regarding the interaction between extracurriculars and rigorous courses. The burden is also on teachers to be more cognizant of the opportunity time cost associated with extracurricular practices, competitions, and homework. Dare to challenge the error in the system and force the system to be the way it ought to be.